Hi, this is Mark Littleton, the minister of the Word for the Athens Church of Christ, with today's 3-minute sermon. I want to share with you a couple of passages today that I think right now are very relevant to our lives with what all is going on in our world. One of them is found in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26, where Paul writes, "In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you're still angry." And in James chapter 1, verses 19 and 20, where James says, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires." Obviously, both of those passages are dealing with the subject of anger. There's a lot we could say about anger. And I think right now for a lot of us, as we look at what's going on in our world, especially those of us who are followers of Jesus, and we see injustice, we see innocent people murdered, we see racism still present in our culture, we see police officers all grouped into one category and maligned. We see innocent people who are having their businesses destroyed by people who are rioting. We see innocent people suffer in so many different areas, and those injustices cause us to become angry. Well, what do we do when we become angry? Getting angry is not a problem. Getting angry is a part of being a human. We ought to be angry at injustice. We ought to be angry when innocent people suffer. We ought to be angry when racism is present in our culture. That ought to make us angry. But what do we do with our anger? We have to be careful to not let the sun go down on our anger. We have to be careful to not let human anger take over because it doesn't produce the righteousness of God. I want to give you 3 quick things that have helped me in dealing with anger over the last few weeks and months as we think about what's going on in our world. One suggestion I would give you to help you deal with your anger, to help it not become the kind that doesn't produce the righteousness of God, is to unplug from media a little bit. Whether that's the television media or social media, whatever media it might be. Look, it's good to know what's going on in our world. It's good to hear about some of those things. But when we hear about it 24/7 and read about it 24/7, we don't have a chance to process our anger. We just get more and more angry, right? We need to plug back up and kind of step away from some of that a little bit so that we can process what we're thinking and what's going on in our hearts and our minds. Another suggestion I would give you is post less on social media and listen to other people more. Be slow to speak, be quick to listen. Maybe go have lunch with someone of a different race from you and listen to what they have to say. Listen to their perspective. It may be different from yours, and yet I bet you'll learn something as you go and listen to that person. Post less, listen more. And then a third suggestion I would give you to deal with your anger is to pray more. I know that sounds trite to hear a preacher say, "Hey, we need to pray more," but it really isn't trite. Listen, as we go to the Father in prayer and we bring our hearts and our lives and our emotions and bring all of that before Him, He will help us to be able to process and deal with our anger. It's going to be very, very hard for me to allow my anger to consume me when I'm going to God in prayer and I'm bringing it to Him. Hopefully those things will help you as you deal with your own feelings as we look at what's going on in our world today. Lord willing, we'll see you again tomorrow for another 3-minute sermon. God bless.